This is Juan Carlos Morales, the former global CFO of BNY Mellon Group, an organization with over $1.8 trillion in assets under management. Not only that, but he worked as the global CFO of other institutions that have a cumulative $4 trillion under management. And today I asked him, how did you create the strategy for, let's say, the stock market crash of 2008?
Well, that was unprecedented, right? That was like trying to plan for the Great Depression. But I have been through four recessions and what to do in uncertain times, like the ones that we were going through, right?
Yeah.
And the most important thing you can do is understanding your cash flows, right? Making sure you have, to the extent that you have reserves, that you start putting them to work effectively, right?
Yeah.
Once you understand your cash flows, you need to do scenario modeling. What if this happens? What if this happens? You don't want to be surprised, right?
Yeah.
And frankly, recessions affect demand, and good CFOs know what the impact of those demand changes would be on their bottom line, right? So if you can predict the demand movement, then and you realize that all of a sudden your company is shrinking, for example, you got to start taking costs out. If you have a strong balance sheet and strong reserves, well, you can take that stress. But if you don't, and in the recession of 2008 or 2009, most people did it, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't do that and your business starts going down and you don't take costs accordingly, you will run out of cash and eventually become insolvent. And so understanding cash flows is key. Securing credit facilities to the extent that you are credit worthy before you need them, right? Don't wait until you need credit to go apply for credit, right? Yeah. Pivot the business, right? We have a client that had a company running transportation buses, big corporate shuttle buses, and almost into insolvency. They had 200 employees, and all of a sudden, no one was working because the routes were not moving, right? Yeah. So what did they do? They converted the shuttle buses into mobile vaccination clinics, right?
Yeah,
so
I got vaccinated by one of them.
That's a pivot. You got to pivot. You got to redefine a company really quickly. Otherwise, the repercussions could be devastating.
So as a CFO, you'd say one of the most important things are to first predict what's going to happen, and then if those things happen, be extremely dynamic.
Yeah, anticipation is power, right? So using things like projections and scenario modeling to anticipate, where earnings are likely to go and what are the things you need to do to impact those earnings, right? So absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the big parts, big jobs of the CFO is advising the CEO on resource allocation decisions, right?
When you were CFO, what do you think that one problem that, if solved, would dramatically increase your efficiency in the workplace?
Yeah, I think that's a great question in an area that has evolved quickly in the last 10 years. And I still see it today because Surfside Capital, we have a financial advisory division, right? So a lot of what we do there is provide fractional CFO services, right? So they'll come to us. A company can afford to have your CFOs in hours a month, right? So they come to get fractional CFOs, right?
Yeah.
We still see it today. Companies spend a lot of time gathering data as opposed to analyzing information, right? So this whole issue of business automation, streamline accounting systems so you can get to business intelligence rather quickly is super important, right?